everybody, welcome to week 10. All right, this week we are talking about being student oriented. Now, there's a lot of different ways that people can be student oriented in terms of how you answer student questions, how you approach students, how you teach, how you shape curriculum. There's a whole many myriad of ways to talk about being student oriented. When I think about being student-oriented, one of the things that comes to my mind is, let's say I'm teaching, and maybe like in a classroom setting, pre-licensure students, and I try to think about, instead of how can I best teach this content, I try to turn it around in my mind and say, how can my students best learn this content? And that leads me to look at active learning strategies. And active learning strategies are something that we know from our courses and from the literature can be very effective. In Halstead, because Halstead was written a little while ago, although it's the most recent edition, it talked about there not being a lot of research on active learning strategies, but now, oh my gosh, there's been an explosion of it. I was just reading an article last night on the effectiveness of students having total clinical 100% in the clinical setting versus students having 50% in the clinical setting, 50% in the sim lab, and how they're throughout their program, and then how their NCLEX scores were higher than those that were just in the traditional clinical setting. But active learning strategies, we're talking about case studies, small group activities, debates, manipulative stuff, I mean, all sorts of things. So I think it's interesting. When I was actually teaching nursing diagnoses, I think, one thing I did was show a clip from The Wizard of Oz, and it had to do with the clip where the house fell on the witch in the beginning when Dorothy was coming to Oz, and how the Wicked Witch was really mad at her because of this. And we took a look at the different characters and their reactions and came up with nursing diagnoses for them to try to just do something a little bit different to engage the students. Sometimes when we start talking about nursing processes, it can be a little dry. All right, so active learning strategies. I love active learning strategies. I cannot teach a whole class straight lecture because I feel like I lose my students at some point in time. You can only listen so long. You need to be engaged. Even if it's a lecture, there's got to be questioning, question and answer, discussing scenarios, something to keep students engaged. But active learning strategies are not without their challenges. And so I'm going to be posting an article about the challenges of using active learning strategies. They are definitely worth it, in my opinion, because I see so much better retention of knowledge and deeper learning with my students when using active learning strategies. But there are some challenges, and so I'm going to post an article about that, and I want to see what you guys think about those challenges. Okay, so it looks like we've got an NEP due this week, and I am a little bit behind on my grading. I am just in the process of finishing up your NEPDs that you posted Wednesday. Ay. Anyway, I will get to them, probably tonight. And then in week 11, you've got that test analysis paper. Now, just a reminder, in week 8, I posted websites about calculating standard deviation and calculating reliability. So you can use any reference you want, but I did post those two. And then in the assignments for the week 11, it says calculate reliability and validity. Well, you don't calculate validity, okay? But I really want you to focus on content validity, and with the method that you chose to develop your test questions, was there a lot of ways that you enhanced content validity, or could have content validity been enhanced more, and what methods to use? Please look especially on the reading in chapter 26 lists out the statistics that you have to use and how to format them. There's some really good information in there about reliability and validity in that reading of that chapter 26. Okay, so hopefully you are well on your way with that project. Remember, if you have any questions, all you have to do is send me a note, or if it's something really sticky and you just can't figure it out, give me a call, 801-577-4100. Okay, I think that was everything on my list. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the main forum and having some good discussion this week. See you in a little bit.